Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We offer stories of infidelity, betrayal, and redemption. Please like and subscribe. Cheers. Now, on to today's story. Update on military husband catching me and his ex-best friend. So I know you guys can't stand my guts, but I'm going to be completely honest with you, or as much as I can be. I told you guys what I did, but I never said why I did what I did. I'm not going to give you guys the same story. It's a long story, and for those doesn't about me or ex, then you'll be able to see my previous posts. I haven't posted in a while because I needed to get away from Reddit. It was quite addicting for the wrong reasons. People have been messaging me for a while for an update, and I guess this is my update for you guys. I know I'm going to get hate, but maybe it won't be as bad. I used to say it was because my father told me not to trust men, but honestly, that was true, but the blame wasn't on him. Before all this drama, I never cheated on my ex-husband. I was super in love with him. At first he couldn't cook worth a damn, so I did the cooking lol. He was always so clingy. Couldn't stay away. Every time I had to get up in the morning, he'd put his arms around me and pull me back to bed and say 5 more minutes. He was always laughing, smiling, and making jokes. When I told him I was pregnant, this man jumped to the moon and back. He was so excited. He was definitely the father to this child. We were having a son. Every time I took a step, he always watched carefully like a hawk. At the end of the day, he used to give me the nicest pedicures because my feet would start killing me. The reason I'm saying all of this is because he was more in love with me than I thought. I thought I loved him more. On the end of the second trimester, I ended up having a miscarriage. It broke us. It split our hearts and ripped 1,000 times more. I would come home with my sister and we'll find him crying holding the crib he built for our son. We had his room ready. Needless to say, I can't fully express our pain. He started playing his games more. He started watching movies more. I hated how a grown man played so many games. I used to fight with him because he was wasting money on video games. He would scream at me saying, "Do I give you shit when you spend $70 on your FING nails, your eyelashes, your fake ass weave, your $300 dresses? That's more than full-priced game that just came out BTW. Don't want PPA taking down this post, so I'll keep it on this level." Yes, I know. He had a point there. Guys, look, we grew up in a time where games, movies, comic books, computers were new and the stigma of playing video games was shunned. I never grew up playing video games, but I enjoy them now and I love playing games with my kids. My ex turned these girls into super competitive girls. Everything they do, they have to win. One day ex gets called into deployment. He told me the news and we were still grieving about our son. I begged him to stay, but he said he's ordered to go. That he can't say no. He left and I resented him for that. He said I won't be alone. That I have my sister, my mom, and his brother at the time, was here. He told his brother to take care of me. To watch over me and be there for me. His brother was giving me attention when my husband wasn't giving me any. I eventually fell for him. Husband was away for 6 months. He didn't catch us when he came from his first deployment, but eventually he did. 2 months after he came back, I was pregnant. He became his clingy self again. Always leaning on me, kissing, bothering me to get my attention. It wasn't the same for me. I got pregnant and I told him. He cried again and said, "This time I'm keeping my eye on you," looking at my stomach. Every night he kept playing with my stomach. When we got the news, we were told they were twins. I have never seen a man so happy. Honestly, he looked like a 10 years old. 1 month after being born, they started to look like me, but I already knew he was not the father. I couldn't tell him. I was afraid of what he might do. Because I'm 5 feet 3 inches, his ex-brother is 5 feet 8 inches and ex is 5 feet 11 inches and 180 pounds, so yeah, he's incredibly strong. But when I tell you I have never seen a father and daddy like him. I mean it. There's a reason why both of them said dada as their first words. There's a reason why when they started walking, they walked past me and went to him. He is such an amazing dad. When he came back from his second deployment, found me with his best friend on the bed that he bought, I thought we were going to die. I saw my life flash before my eyes. I have never seen a man get beat so badly. On the day we had to get the DNA results, you could see his soul coming out of him. He had an emotionless face, tears just bursting out of his eyes, then 1 minute later, the pregnancy test said I was pregnant again. Ever since, he was no longer the same man. Though he still remained in the girl's lives, he is constantly aggressively mean to people. He pushes people out of his life except for the girls so no one has the chance to hurt him. When I was at his house last year, I told him I hope you find a woman you deserve and then you can treat her like how you treated me. He laughed and said he'll never be that weak beta male again. He said he loved me too much and that mistake ain't happening again. I didn't understand what a beta male is. So if you're in love with your wife, that means you're weak. I hope that's not the mentality of men nowadays. There are great women out there. Thanks to my ex-husband, my son learned how to build pieces and he sells them. He's doing great and I'm so thankful for this miracle. I'm working hard as a nurse and we're still in a pandemic. Things are always insanely hectic. I decided to tell you guys the truth. And update with how things are going. Up is a pos, enough said. What the hell is wrong with people? How goddamn hard is it to stay loyal? There really should be law against people who destroy the lives of others because they either can't keep it in their pants or keep their legs closed. It's like infidelity is just getting more brutal. It's going to get worse. For men. From what I see, with court siding with women, men will have it worse. The more technology advances, the more toxic people become. It's bound to get worse. Yeah, the justice system in the Western world is free on diabolical. Infidelity caters for one of the highest rate of male suicide next to divorce and finances. I think your story changed a bit from your last one where you said your husband's friend manipulated you by saying all the BS about your husband and you started cheating on him while you are dating and now you say you cheated after marriage. I think you are twisting the story to fit your narrative of what a pos you are. Yeah, that's true. He was always saying ex-husband was always a cheater with every relationship he had. He only had 2 before me and unfortunately, he was cheated on both. I pretty much became strike 3. Truthfully, I didn't want to mention my ex-best friend because that would put the blame on him instead of me. I made the choice to believe him because he left. Holy shit, you were his third? I am so sorry for him, man. I can't imagine what his life was/is. You are a very bad person like If there is hell, I bet there is a special place for you. P.S. I very hope you are a troll, cause if you're not, I can't imagine this kind of PPA could walk on Mother Earth. I don't understand. You once mentioned that you have difficulty trusting men, yet you have no issue in trusting your lover who is a man? Let me know if you're able to see this. NSFW. If you guys are able to see this, then I don't mind updating you guys. Much has happened and Reddit and these cheating relationship subs have been very strict and removing even the slightest offense. I never posted on my own sub or whatever you call it. If you guys can see this, then click the first choice. If I wake up and no one has responded or clicked on the vote, I would know it won't be visible and it'll be a waste of time. Wow, it's quite the story. Anyway, I truly despise those who cheats. Although I'm not one to mention to someone to hurt themselves. I really hope you take this as a serious lesson in life. I originally seen this in YouTube and actually watched it probably half a dozen times. Your ex has a heart of an angel. It's a sad shame you messed up the best thing you ever had. I can actually feel the resentment you will have till you're grey and old. Myself, I felt the pain he had, but in my case being totally different and haven't seen my boy in 7 years. He was about 8 months old. My ex did many awful and hurtful things before running off to God knows where. I basically gave up on relationships. They say 3 times a charm. And never once I'd cheated. Oh man. Not being able to see your son in that long is horrible. I'm sorry for your experience. I destroyed the best thing that's happened to me because I was too broken to realize what I had. I will regret it for the rest of my life. I'm surprised this was posted on YouTube. I never heard about that. You wouldn't be able to send me a link, would you? Only if you want to. Hard to believe people actually reported on this story. No problem, I tend to download like 100 plus stories to a memory then play them on TV. It somewhat helps me cope with mine. My ex happened to be the girl next door who my older sister babysat. Once I moved north of my province about 560 kilometers away. I had vehicles, a business, a house and an apartment. Would travel back to visit family. I ended up being FWB with Mel, who was separated. She mysteriously rang at my door up north and what mistakes followed. 1 year I supported her plus helped her with her divorce down south and her partial custody of her twins. Paid her college course to be a PSW 3 years later. Then came the cheating with a Greyhound bus driver. She then got pregnant and I was happier than a kid on Christmas. I was always by her side with all the pregnancy. Now she then gave me an ultimatum to move back south. That's when I lost everything except a few items. Emptied bank account. Maxed credit cards and had me arrested on false domestic charges. Cops are corrupt in my county. Took 4 years of criminal court in which was found not guilty but a tarnished record. At same time the family court. My lawyer was a bottom of the barrel so it didn't go well plus the judge was literally unfair considering the false domestic. 1 year later I'm served by her brother in family court. It's when I learned Mel abandoned our son because her new relationship was a real domestic violent one. Our karma. Then COVID hit and lost 2 fingers to a snowblower last February so basically I discovered I've been cursed since birth. I now became a shut-in and gave up on relationships or socializing. Relationship PTSD is unrealistic true. I've since changed my religious beliefs to pagan because Catholic ain't me anymore. Your story got me very emotional and truly hope you are on a better life path. I'm fairly new to Reddit. Deep down even with the bad choices you made you're still a person. And offering you a friendship if you need to vent. I'm told I'm very diplomatic and listen rather well. I know a couple of YouTube channels have the story, I'm not sure but I might have or not seen your ex's version also. I saw so many stories it's hard to pinpoint except those that impact my viewing. A biento. See you in a bit I'll get you the link for you. Off yourself you horrible slut piece of trash. Rid this world of your wasteful presence. Why do good people die and shits like you are alive wasting oxygen and precious natural resources? Bloody cum dump cheating whore. You are by far the worst person I have ever seen on Reddit. The world will be a much better place without creatures like you. Goodness man. Why are you so angry? Lola guts to say that when you cheated in the most horrible way possible, scarring a good man for life and destroying a stable home for your kids. Duck off and kill yourself, horrible piece of trash. When are you going to post an update? Tonight? After work? If you're still here I wanna ask you something. Reading all you posted and answered here I just have one thing that makes me feel sick about all this shit you put on your XH. My question is, how did you punish your AP? I mean, he ducked you all the times he wanted, you gave birth to his children, he didn't even just destroy your marriage, he destroyed your XH's self-worth, he didn't give a duck about his children, and then as far as I know he didn't even pay for their children. So he gets some punishment from you? Or he just leaves completely free of guilt and shame? Honestly, I couldn't do anything. He couldn't pay child support because X already had the girls covered and he didn't care about his kids. He got several married women pregnant. I guess that says a lot about married women. But to answer your question, he got to leave free. The only consequences he's facing is that none of his kids loves him as their dad but he acts as if he doesn't care. Well, that's what ex-husband says. Sad to know that. Looks like you never loved your ex-H. Then, if you gave all that shit to your ex-H and your app got all the way he liked it, and leaving aside all you might do for your kids, what was your way of redemption to your ex-H? I don't want to believe he just had to heal himself on his own and you never ever did a little bit of damage control or give him something to fix him up. Did you do something for him? And divorcing him doesn't count. Let him have his twins either. I did love my ex at first. The love wasn't fully there, because the trust was never there. I had a horrible past with my exes before I got married. I've been abused, physically, verbally, emotionally. I just didn't know how to trust. The one man I decided to cheat on was the one who loved me more than I could have ever imagined. I wish my younger self wasn't such a nasty person. Seeing how destroyed he was. A month after our divorce, my sister sent me a picture of him and he lost 87 pounds due massive depression. Eventually he picked himself up, started working out again, but he became hateful and nasty with PPE. He's much better now. He's no longer nasty, but he keeps everyone at arm's length. He refuses to trust anyone. His foster brother told me his work is done. He told me the reason he slept with me was to close his brother's heart. That way he won't trust no one. Especially women. Steve told me that ever since X was a baby, he was told that his parents left him because they hated him. X grew up hateful and beaten brutally every day. OFC, I didn't know any of this. X kept it a secret from me. Steve told me that X didn't want to listen. That he had 4 relationships before me and they all ripped his heart apart. So Steve got me pregnant just to teach my ex a lesson. He literally told me that. Now it's been over a decade and my ex can't find it in himself to trust one more person. X told me women would only stay and act as if they love him because of his money. All he wanted was for someone to love him and I couldn't see that. So, you did destroy your ex-H. Very badly. Your app gets all he can ask for. All of it. Let me ask you again. What did you do to fix all the damage you put on him? How is it possible you just gave him misery? And to make myself clear, you don't need him to thank you or get him asking you to fix something. I mean, if you are truly remorseful, you will do without permission. You can destroy him on your own will, but need that permission to fix him? For all the angles I saw, this looks like you loved your app more than your ex-H. What can I do to help him? I don't think there's anything that can be done. As much as I wish I can do something, anything, there's nothing I can do. He wants nothing from me. I just leave him alone because that's what he wants. I begged him to let me make it up to him and he just asked me, can you change your kid's DNA to mine? I said no. He said then there's nothing you can do. What's done is done and all we can do is move on and make sure those kids grows up with the biggest smile. Yeah. That's something you cannot change. But if you really wanna try something, you don't need his permission to try. But don't take the heal as granted. Stop thinking you can do all the damage you can but you cannot fix nothing. Isn't fair. You said no money can undo the damage done, then pay all you can. Isn't fair that someone who, like or hate, is making your ducking redemption easily, has to go across hell thanks to you and gets just claps. If the gift of life is so precious to you and your kids, do something. How is possible the one who is making you easy is the only one who has to deal with nothing but shit? Feels like you take all his healing for granted. What remorse means for you? What get married means for you? Your childhood might be hard but doesn't justify this level of destruction. But don't think I said that just because I hate you. Think about it. You can rip your APS name, you can teach your children to be like him and not like you, you can feel proud you were married with this guy, and even if your children are not his, he's raising like they were his. Come on, stop being so stupid. If he were you, what need to do to be healed fully? Because you cannot tell me he is fully recovered if he shuts down all other people. Please, and please read it. Damage control, damn it. He's not recovered completely. I know he's not because he doesn't let anyone get close to him except the girls. I haven't seen him in months. The only time he speaks to me is when I have to drop the girls on their flight going to his house. Believe me, I'm not making his life a living hell, or at least I'm not intentionally. I spoke to his family which he met a couple of years ago. They tell me that he's very insecure with himself. That his cousin tried having a conversation with him and his first response was, "What do you want since you're talking to me for this long?" It breaks my heart every day that I made him like that. I'm reminded every day that I'm not the only one who hurt him, but the fact is that I probably damaged him the most. I remember when we were together, he never liked showing his back. You can easily tell it's burnt beyond the dermis, which is the second layer of the skin. X did say he was brutally beaten. Do I want to know how bad? No. It'll drive my guilt even more. Do kids get beat in foster families? Maybe some, but is it so bad that it's known to this level? Maybe back in the 80s or 90s. But now? I don't know. Maybe it changed. When I rubbed his back, he would start trembling or having a panic attack. Even at the beach or the pool, he always had a black shirt to cover his back. I wish I could do something to help, but honestly, I have no clue on how to fix the damage I caused him. Maybe you know, are foster kids beaten? How would you want to fix it? There is no way to fix it. Update on military husband walking in on me with his foster brother. NSFW. So it's been a while since I updated you guys. I stopped mainly because these subs have been super strict and it became pointless to say what I want to say because these moderators are as soft as a feather. But I'll try and keep it short and simple. About 6 months ago, my son's father, let's call him Steve, wanted to see our son Jason. The night after that, some guy I never met calls me. Minutes later, cops comes over my house and knocks on my door. They told me Steve has been arrested for sexual activity against a minor. My son. My son is 9 years old. Steve brought home a stripper to drink and sleep with each other while my son was in his house. Honestly, I thought this was a sick joke. I knew Steve wasn't right in the head, but go this far? There were times I found him talking to himself, or when people would try to give him a high five, he would flinch really hard and then tried to play it off. Honestly, when I was married to my ex, there were times I hugged him randomly and he would flinch really hard. We'll come back to my ex's past in a little bit. My son was brought to the nearest hospital. He's alright. They just wanted to make sure he was 100% fine. My son didn't get to do anything sexual. Apparently, that wasn't Steve's intention. He said he was just wanted some, if you get what I mean. The guy that works for my ex had been watching over my kids when I had no clue. My ex can be paranoid. He trusts no one. So he has people watching over others. I'm glad this person called the cops. Who knows what could have happened. So here's the big update. 3 months ago, my ex called everyone. He had news for Steve and for my kids. Ex told me I should be there as well. What I learned about my ex, honestly, I wish I never knew. It made me even more guilty. My ex found his actual biological family. But apparently he survived a car accident in the mid-80s when he was only 6 months old. His parents died along with his siblings. Don't worry, he said it's okay for me to say this on Reddit if I ever decide to post it. His foster parents have beaten him brutally ever since a toddler. He grew up being told that his real parents never loved him. That they just threw him out as a baby. That nobody will ever want him. That every girl he gets with will only use him. Honestly, it's taking me months to finish this update because the guilt doesn't let me. They used to tie him to the backyard trees and whip his back. One time his foster dad was drunk and made his oldest son, Jimmy, tie my ex when he was only 13 years old to the tree. They rubbed gas on his back and lit his back on fire just to watch him scream because he refused to sleep with some hooker. Basically, his foster dad thought my ex was gay. A gallon of cold water was dropped on him to put out the fire. I have to be honest, I didn't believe this would happen, or at least them getting away with it. Child services exist. Wouldn't they find out about this? They check on the kids every month. But his entire back is burned. It has slashed scars and burnt scars. Steve said it's true. That he was whipped but never burned. That they would get whipped and this foster dad would say, how does it feel to be whipped? You white folks don't like it now, huh? Honestly, he said worse according to X, but they're very racist slurs, so I won't say it here. Their foster parents were both black. I had no clue. I was never introduced to them. I remember my ex saying he never wants me to meet the PPA that raised him. I always asked why, but now I know why. So let's skip to what happened recently. Since X found out about the truth towards his family, he realized maybe it was a lie for all of his foster siblings. It took X years to find out about Steve's family, but he did find them. They're alive and well. Steve was introduced to them, but he wouldn't believe it. Took a DNA test and it's true. His biological family is right in front of him. Steve was always told his parents died. But not only are they alive, Steve met his sister, her kids along with her husband. Here's the crazy part, his family was brought from Russia. The only reason X managed to find them was because he looked at the foster history and saw that Steve's last name was changed. I'm not allowed to reveal his last name. X flew them out here with his own money. His parents were poor and very young at the time and couldn't afford to take care of a baby at the age of 14 and 17. They sent him off to a better family in the US. It broke their hearts when they realized they sent their baby to an awful family. X told them, the past is the past. Don't waste on the past because there's nothing anyone can do about it. He's alive, he's healthy, and right now he should get to know his real family. He introduced the girls to their grandparents. My kids are half Russian. I had to stop and think about that for a second. I'm not proud of it, I'm just saying. Steve tried not to cry and X said nobody is going to shame you. You can let it out. Abba was wrong. Anyone tried to put their hands on you, you have more than enough strength to fight back. We're not those defenseless kids back in the 90s. Abba was the man that raised them. He would beat them as kids for no reason. He beat them until they stopped crying. That's why Steve is so cold when he hurts people. He doesn't care. X, you'll never see him emotional. He always has a serious straight face. I remember times when I just told to let it out. Whatever it is that's bothering him, just let it out. He used to tell me, men don't get emotional. Steve got emotional and asked why he would go this far after what he did to him. He said there's plenty of reasons, but the main reason is so you can stop trying to ruin families and stop going for vulnerable women. You have 7 other kids that could meet their grandparents. Steve tried hugging him, but that wasn't going to happen. Steve's parents and sister tried hugging X but refused to let anyone close to him. Steve asked him, what about Jimmy? Jimmy is their other foster brother who tortured X. Jimmy's family was found as well. X never smiled once when he reunited Steve with his family. BTW, Steve is in his early 40s. I wish I could have hugged my ex, but he wasn't going to let that happen. He does so much for people, but he refuses to let someone help him. The only ones he hugs are the girls. They make him laugh, they play with him, they love him truly. I saw him eating alone while everyone was talking. I asked if I can sit with him. I told him how sorry I am, but he said when I told them the past is the past, I was talking to you as well. There's nothing we can do other than moving on and learning from it. He said he recovered from what I did, from what Steve did, from the abuse, but there are just some things he can't recover from. 2 of those things are the loss of our baby. I had a miscarriage 7 months through the pregnancy. It destroyed us. I used to find him next to the crib he built for our son. He said he can't imagine losing a baby after actually bonding. That's why he immediately paid for my son's surgery. He didn't want me going through that pain, nor did he want the girls to lose their baby brother. Another haunting memory is when he was 10 years old, his first dog, first best friend technically, had crapped in the house. Abba gave him a choice. Either you shoot the dog, or I'll pour gasoline all over him and you watch him burn alive. X shot his best friend. His hands were shaking when he told me, he says he doesn't deserve something as loving as a dog. The girls keeps asking him for one, but he's ashamed of having another one. He's truly a blessing, and if only I wasn't a weak, pathetic piece of shit, we would have had an amazing family. You don't know what you have till it's gone. Steve found peace in his life. He found closure. For once I see remorse coming from him. He told me he's sorry for everything. That he just wanted his brother to protect himself from someone who can hurt him. I just hugged him and told him what my ex said. I know you guys hate me for what I did. Trust me, none of you can be as hard on me than I can. I hate what I did and I have to live with it. I hope one day, X will open his heart to someone. I asked him about what he wanted in someone. He said most women in this country are not for him. That they're only good for ruining men's lives financially, or by accusing them when they haven't done anything. I said that's not fair. Not all of us are like that. He said no, not all. But so many women in this country love accusing innocent people just because they can. No, I have never met a woman who thinks she can just accuse an innocent man. He just doesn't trust anybody. Not all women are like that. I could never falsely accuse an innocent man. Never. He said he would rather find a woman from his country in Spain or Venezuela. For now he just wants to be with the girls. A lot has happened and most of it was about closure and leaving the past for good. I know it's been a couple of months when I said I was going to update you guys, but honestly, I've been super guilty for not knowing my husband at the time needed me and didn't know how to tell me. Instead, I broke him even more than what he already was. If I could take it back, believe me I would. Your ex will never, ever trust another woman enough to have a loving relationship with ever again. You did this to him. You broke him. You betrayed him, broken heart. You did this. Own it. I wouldn't say that. He'll be in Spain for a bit. Here's to hoping he finds someone. He does say American women are garbage. Which I disagree with, but I understand his pof. He won't find any good women there. I live in Portugal and here are the same, America and Europe, just garbage womans to get into a relationship. I think the only place to find real good womans is on Asia. There are really some conservative womens to get in a serious relationship. My God, how are you still here? Most people who post stories and confessions like this disappear off of Reddit almost immediately. You have no shame? Just get off Reddit, focus on your kids, and don't duck up so spectacularly again. Your ex-husband will never look at you in that way again, at least I hope he doesn't, so just move on and stop apologizing. It probably just pisses him off at this point. Honestly, I'm still here because people ask for updates on how things are. I haven't seen my ex since the summer. I only see him like once a year. If that. So no. He doesn't see me like before. Also, he doesn't care that I'm on Reddit giving updates. He has more things to focus on. How old are the twins now? 14? Are you still in nursing? We are all products of our upbringing, and it seems you and your ex as well as Steve are all severely broken people because of your upbringing, assuming all you've shared is true. I'm amazed you are all still alive. My hope is that you can successfully raise your kids to be productive human beings. No, they're 12. Yes, I'm still a registered nurse. But I really want to ask, why are you surprised we're alive? And thank you. I'm doing my best. The kids are growing up happy and healthy. I'm very grateful for that. Just glad you and Steve/John didn't hook up, get lost in drugs and alcohol, and end up in the gutter with needle marks and no teeth. And your ex is not blowing his own brains out after the polygraph results. You have to admit, most others would be long dead after going through that hell. I'm impressed with your resilience. Stay healthy for your kids, your ex's advice, not mine, but I echo it. I believe in you. Don't let these haters go up your head. That story is already in the past and you clearly learn a lot from it. You deserve to move on and find happiness and love for yourself again. I honestly don't get the connection with Spain or Venezuela. Is your ex Hispanic? Personally, I see nothing wrong with your ex remaining single, but I suspect he has an urge to have a biological offspring. To me, he derives strength from his traumatic past experiences. It makes him who he is. From his childhood abuse, his/your miscarriage, to his battle buddy who took his life, to his foster brother, that wasn't clear in your earlier post, was it? Betrayal, your betrayal. Read The Body Keeps the Score for some insight. At this point in his life, the only peace he will find is through his relationship with the twins. I hope you can find ways of allowing that. Feel free to PM me. The caustic comments here from other traumatized people and trolls can be downright depressing and serves no useful purpose. I hope you will be stable and healthy for your kids. I also hope you cut Steve/John out of your life. He is and continues to be a dark and negative pull on your life. You owe him nothing. Will you be with him if he allows it? Yes, you destroyed him. But I think if there is a chance, only you can bring him back to his old self. Also, do you find any good man after that? Are you in any relationship now? Well, you're still a piece of trash and Steve is still a duck-up who destroyed innocent lives, so I guess sure you found some closure, but nothing really changes here. Nothing erases either of your sins, and your lessons are a bit too little too late. You seem to be an okay parent, but for God's sake stop harassing your ex. He's given you his answer many times. He doesn't deserve to be badgered by you constantly, because let's be honest, he doesn't deserve to have someone like you in his life, and the fact he tolerates you for the kids should be enough. Seriously, what are you trying to accomplish by trying to push him? You can't put the genie back into the bottle. You can't fix this. You screwed up everyone's life because of your true nature. Stop trying to force things. He is broken and may never recover, but you can't do anything about that anymore. You've lost the right to that. So stop trying to fix him or get back together. He deserves so much better than you doing either, and be a decent parent, because that seems to be all you have and your only chance. Because we will all face our Maker and judge one day. He will look at us and see what we did. All our sins eventually catch up with us in the end, and later you and your ex-sap have tombs of them. I think we all know that's when the time comes, and ask, did you leave a positive impact on the world? Were you a good person, and was your life a net benefit for humanity? What your answers will be and the potential consequences to that. So stop beating a dead horse and try to be something decent before that day, because the amount of things you both have to make up for would be terrifying. You've failed as a woman, as a wife, and as a human being. Your only potential saving grace would be as a mother whose front he sounds off. And what happened with your kid is iffy at best. Your ex still saved the day when you couldn't. I never tried to get back with him. Believe me, that all went from him. Before that day, I hadn't seen him in a long time. We usually text or call when the girls are flying to his house. What do you mean by greasing? But I'm aware of my endless duck-ups. I know I can't change the past. I just hope he has a family of his own one day. My friends tried, if I'm being honest. Unsuccessful is an understatement. But now, all I can do is make sure my kids grow up well and teach them to be better than me. Yeah, you teach your kids the right way. By leaving them to a bum in his 40s who brought a stripper next to a 9 years old. Real classy first-class education right there. You wanna make amends? Make him sign his rights away and make ex's life a little better. In these stories, you are the most evil out of everyone. Even more than that guy you called Abba, and that bum-pos Steve is like an angel compared to you. You let the altercations between two brothers go bad. You didn't seduce him, but you loved the attention and loved how he bombarded you with attention. You still, after all these years, been in contact with Steve and gave your son to him, knowing pretty well that he would corrupt him with his disgusting aura. I think you always wanted a bum as your ideal husband and the father of your children. A woman who was on a journey to fix a man. Truly pathetic and sad. Honey, if you give birth to the children of a bum, it is no different than giving yourself to a stranger homeless guy. Even after that, they are traumatized constantly by your mistakes and actions. Imho, you are unfit to be a mother after that shit show with strippers. You love having two different men around your core family, to take further care of things. Trust me, without your ex in the equation, your fate was, son dead, twins growing up with a sex offender father where they will soon become a prostitute or get into drugs and sell their body for their addiction. And the worst part is, that guy got the shortest end of the stick. So stop talking like Steve aka John, the ex. You and some others are this weird family with different dynamics. This is just your ex, trying to intervene with karma and fate and save the kids. TBH, any man would have foresaw this future already and leave you degenerates to your own measly fate. I pray for your ex. Nothing more. No positive thing here. Same old evil ex-wife, Steve the putrid and odd spawns of his. BTW, I notice that you are trying your hardest to write with the best grammar and sentences. I guess knowing you are evil must be bad and must suck a lot that you are trying to overcompensate this way, right? But, you do know how evil you are, and you did nothing to have your amends. It is just that your decisions that keep ducking and traumatizing children further. I think you were a duck up from the beginning, and you wanted to broke your ex-husband and truly be with that bum foster brother who is more of a duck up than you. Must have made you feel almost normal, seeing a person that is worse in terms of functionality. My advice, stop being evil. I mean, you know what I mean. I very well know that you will scramble a bunch of nonsense even as a response, but I do know that I got to you. As a wife, you have failed majorly. As a woman, you gave birth to children of a bum equal to putrid. You have failed majorly. Now you are failing as a mother slowly. Not surprised really. Wow, I have to admit. This is the first time a woman is actually commenting this much. But like I said before, I'm not trying to make things right. I burned that bridge years ago. Now I don't know how anyone can compare me to a man that tied kids up to whip or burn them. I had no clue. Now you want to talk about making an ex sign his rights away? He would have done it literally years ago. He loves those girls and he said he'll never leave them. He told me they're all he has. I never said me, Steve, and ex are a family. Ex stays away from us as far as possible. Also no. This is how I type. I wasn't even trying to sound smart. So I appreciate that. As for your advice, stop being evil. I'm not that same person. I could never hurt someone like I did. I learned from my past, though it tends to haunt me. You sounds very upset. Honestly, I would understand, but this sounds personal. As if you have a problem with me personally. I lost someone to paternity fraud and infidelity. Took his own life, because his son he thought he was, turned out wasn't his, and his friend group betrayed him. All took turns on his wife unbeknownst to him. I lost someone similar to your ex. So, of course I am angry. I see the same evilness in your posts, and I sympathize with those memories. I said make Steve sign his rights away, not ex. You literally gave your son to a dysfunctional 40-year-old man to corrupt him, just to have some father-son time. So, you do see Steve as your children's father, and you downplay his craziness. Well, who am I to judge a woman who bedded a sewer rat and made him his baby daddy to her children? Not only, you acknowledge that, you further allow him near them to be taught the sewer rat lifestyle by that ratchetness. I think you have always seen this rat as your husband and your ex was the doormat you used for money. Classic army wife stuff. Still, too much in shame to even admit it. And this man still saves your son and takes care of them like his own, something you don't really deserve as their mother. As a perpetrator, who is on the wrongful side, you did literally nothing but yet again take advantage of the kindness of this guy. As a wrongdoer, what did you do to repent till this day? Only shame and guilt, with self-reflections. Probably living the best life you can by stepping on others' heads. One thing you could do was to prevent sewer rat to corrupt and poison the children, and you failed on that. Your son literally witnessed sex at 9 years old. I mean, unbelievable, truly. Good luck with life, I guess. And good luck to your ex, who is trying to make domestic mice and hamsters out of literal sewer rats. I mean, we all know where rats belong now. You ended any chance of him ever having a family. He will never trust another woman because of your betrayals. You did that. You broke a good man on purpose. I believe you. After what I heard, he pretty much said all I needed to know. I had hoped to find someone else. My first wife was a serial cheater. So much so, that until my daughter was 11 years old, I didn't think she was mine. I thought that because all of the other nieces and nephews look like my brothers and sister, my daughter didn't look like anyone else in the family at all. Then I met my sister's daughter, she could be my daughter's twin. My second wife had a 6-month EA and gave away our life savings to a scammer she swore up and down was Val Kilmer, but I digress. My anger is that of a BS who has a pretty good idea of the pain you inflicted upon your exhibit, but it's something I need to let go of. I hope that you find the grace to move beyond the wretchedness you gave your ex and can learn how to be a whole person, to find that which is broken within you so that you may live a life and gain the happiness we all deserve. Good luck and God bless you. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Please comment, like and subscribe. Cheers. Have a wonderful day or night. Wherever you are.